Greetings. Hello there. Welcome to Discussions. It is Saturday, July the 9th, 2011. And our weather has gotten considerably drier. It was like we've had a heat wave with hazy, hot, and humid, horribly oppressive humidity. And because of the thunderstorm, it has gotten drier, but it is still hot nevertheless. The hazy, lazy, crazy days of summer. I'm your host for Discussions, James Piranha Madonna of Mega Life 21, the hardest hitting internet talk radio station on the planet. I know I always say that, but I just want to differentiate us from all the others. And I am here at the Newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey with my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. How are you feeling today, sir?
I'm here. I hope my voice is in good shape.
He had a meeting.
Yakking all morning.
He had a meeting, and he had to give a lecture, a speech, to some of his knowledge gnomes. You know, try to light a fire under their butts for certain personal reasons. What I want to do here is something new. It is something new. It is the debut of what I call Linux lingo. And what Linux lingo is simply a very old European-based, very popular amongst computer geeks and computer technicians and programmers. They don't advertise. They are not greedy corporatists like, let's say, Microsoft and Apple. You know, Steve Jobs is Apple. You know, it's free. It's the way the internet and computer software is supposed to be, like cable TV was once, originally. It is still 100% free, and I am proud to announce that to this day, after all the upgrades of the Linux distros, well, there's about 2 or 3 primary ones that are on top. With all the upgrades, they now offer everything that Microsoft and Apple has to offer in terms of programs. Linux has one that works just as good, if not better, and they have more programs than you would realize. That would absolutely amaze you. Okay, especially with Ubuntu. Now, which is good for running a small business. You just have to be willing you have to be sick and tired of paying fees to Microsoft and, you know, renewing licenses, of putting up with all their bullshit. You have to be sick and tired of being price gouged, and you have to be willing to not only not be charged anything, but to also spend a little time to navigate and learn how to get around a Linux distro. Now, I'm going to read something from the director of the Mega Life 21 IT division. Okay, and this is from the director. Let me put my, oh, by the way, my Blackthorn imported Irish shillelagh, hopefully destined for the skulls of conservatives. Figuratively, but if push comes to shove, it might happen literally. Okay, once again, this is, I quote, once again, for most folks, I cannot fathom why Linux isn't more popular than it should be. I try to not sound fanatical, but aside from, quote, kids playing vulgar quote unquote, M for mature, blood and guts games, most, quote, grown-ups, unquote, spend their computing time for business and office documents. Net surfing, email applications, chat applications, printing, and possibly graphic arts. Then again, there is a program or two that all of us need Windows to run. Think about that for a minute. We are robots We are robot slaves to Microsoft. Linux operating systems are 100% free. A while back, I, meaning the director of our MegaLife 21 IT team, a while back I reprogrammed a PC for someone that had a major Windows crash. I believe I installed Ubuntu 9.10. This person had to have Adobe Photoshop as well. I installed it utilizing Wine, which is, I think, is a Windows emulator. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It worked fine, other than its font being slightly smaller. Bottom line is GIMP is exactly the same. May look a little different, but has every possible function Photoshop has. Photoshop can be purchased for $670 at, of course, Adobe's website. Oh, whoop-de-doo. That much money, huh? GIMP is an open source free download. The best part of it is that it is available as a free download for just about any operating system, including Windows and Mac, as well as Linux. Okay, there is an incredible amount of open source freeware available. Most of it has a version for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Unfortunately, there are some esoteric programs which only run under Windows. For you, it may be Radio Destiny, like for instance, we broadcast several days a week from the Pirate Radio Network, so that's Radio Destiny. For me, meaning our director, it may be a video or 3D graphics program. For punks, it might be some stupid game, but most folks only need a computer to get on the internet, print documents or photos, process words or office data, play basic games, burn disks, play disks, etc. Enter Linux distributions. Come on, folks, it works well. No bullshit add-on software for spyware, viruses, spam, a firewall. Enter dual boot technology. I redid the Mint 11 and Windows 7 machine yesterday on a partition hard drive. I cannot overemphasize that. Internet instructions told me to install bootloader to Linux rather than to Windows. There are several reasons for this, which we will not discuss now. My old method was to install grub bootloader to Windows. Never had a glitch. I redid the whole shooting match, even installing an additional hard drive in the case, just for Mint 11. 2 hard drives, 2 operating systems, 1 bootloader. So far, it works perfectly, and I will test for at least another week before giving back to the friend he was doing this for, Gary. Not to be redundant and slightly insane, dual boot is the answer. My next machine is going to be a fully liquid-cooled CPU water block, VGA water block, chipset water block, triple 120 millimeter fan radiator, silent pump, etc. A real labor of love. I plan on installing a Mint, the new Mint probably, Mint 11 Akaya, Windows 7 or maybe 8, who knows, dual boot. I was looking, my answer to the gentleman, to the director of our IT team, who affectionately is known as Big Daddy Boris. He wants to remain anonymous. But anyway, I've seen photos of completely liquid-cooled computers, PCs. It's absolutely amazing. I was looking at one that was immersed in, I think, mineral oil. Mm. Don't ask me how the hell they do it, but it was friggin', it was awesome. And I've heard them. They're virtually silent. I mean, they're quiet. Okay, just in case, as far as the best distribution, I would pick Mint 10 or 11. Well, the new one is Mint 11 Akaya. I do not like the latest Ubuntu due to the fact it utilizes the Genome 3 desktop. Too much too soon. Not user-friendly. Okay, that is. Now, for people who want to operate a business, Ubuntu does offer more variety and more sophisticated programs. But overall, so far, our team has discovered that the best all-around, user-friendly, plug-and-play, trouble-free distro would be the new Mint 11 Akaya. Of course, if they come out with another one, Mint 12 and so on and so on. But the new Mint, go with Linux Mint. This is what we will be doing with our new business venture at Megalife 21 called Linux Lingo, the Genesis. I'm thinking of calling it the Genesis Project, because what our team will do with your old business computer is clean it up, make necessary hardware repairs and replacement if needed. Clean it up, of course, transfer all of your data to an external drive, install Linux Mint, get rid of Microsoft, and you'll have 100% free, trouble-free business computer, and for a reasonable fee. It will speed things up. You won't have to pay anything to Microsoft any longer, and the evil Microsoft empire, starting now, because we will be promoting this, will have a big thorn in its side on the other side of its body. Over here on this side, Google has Android. I think Android for smartphones is owned by Google. Android, the operating Linux-based operating system, but they call it Android. And of course, they have Google Chrome, you know, for, I guess, for PCs, whatever. But anyway, the tablet looks like it's going to replace the laptop, because, you know, you have the touch screen, you don't have a keyboard, and I assume over time, sooner than you think, the tablet will eventually, not right away, but maybe replace the PC, because I was looking at a new PC that was all like the Apple. It was one big flat screen monitor, no keyboard, touch screen. It's amazing. It's amazing. But that is the debut of Linux Lingo by Megalife 21. So that's it. Mint 11, the new one is the way to go. Now, I only have one question. Let me just check something here, Dr. Bill. Now, I have one question, but I have one comment, and you can say it's related or it's not related. I had a conservative ass kisser. We're very busy here at the Newsletter Censored Research Center, and we forgot to disengage the business phone because we had a big meeting here.
Huge meeting.
A humongous meeting.
Humongous meeting.
Hold on for a second. Oh, great. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. One of our clients are calling. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Hope you're not there falling down and
Gotta love it.
Something stupid. Anyway, I just want to let you know I'm not going to be around for the next one.
Okay.
I'm at camp.
I apologize, people out there in cyberspace. One of our employees forgot to disengage the main office business phone. Excuse me.
Disengage it now.
I think it was Satan that did this.
That was Satan? It sounded like a girl's voice.
Well, Satan comes as an angel of light sometimes, me brother. I don't mind the cute little adorable kitty cat interrupting me, because I love animals. But when human beings do it, that's another story. It pisses me off. Anyway, where was I? All right, a conservative ass-kissing jabroni says to me, hey, well, he didn't have that voice because he typed to me, but I'm doing it. Hey, You liberal there. You know, in the Bible, since you and Dr. Bill know so much about the Bible, you know, it says in the Bible that man has dominion over the entire earth and all the animals, and which includes the natural resources and wealth of the earth. So therefore, corporations and elitists have the right. I got news for you, buddy. It says man has dominion. It doesn't say only the elitists have dominion. It doesn't say only the corporations have dominion. It says man. Who is man? Human beings on the planet. What's your take on this distorted corruption of a biblical verse?
First of all, corporations are only a recent invention of the states.
Yeah, very
Okay.
recent. Like marriage, the institution of marriages is not all that ancient either, right? In as far as the romance and love version of it, but that's another issue.
The dominion of the earth was once, before man was created,
Yeah.
was given over to Satan, who was then Lucifer, and 1/3 of his angels.
Okay.
They did not take very good care of the earth.
Hell no.
They also polluted it, covered it over with water, in darkness, etc. So God had to come around in Psalm
I'm not urinating, people. Please forgive the sound.
I think it's 104:30,
My
something,
tea,
something
yeah.
like that, where the Christians, or so-called Christians of our day, take that psalm to mean that the earth was created 6,000 years ago. When in fact, what that psalm is referring to is that God had to resurface, renew the surface of the earth, because the angels, or the demons, had destroyed it because they had dominion over it.
Okay.
So where your friend over there, your conservative friend, gets
Not
any
my
idea
friend, yeah.
that dominion means that you can do anything you want to the earth
And exploit it and abuse it
and abuse it and uglify it,
and hoard and hoard the wealth and keep it from the masses and not share things, be greedy and stingy,
well,
like Chris Christie of New Jersey,
Point is-
Republican.
the point is that dominion has nothing to do with that. Dominion has to do with taking care of it, like as if you were what's this new movie here
General
with
manager of the earth.
what's this new manager? This new movie with Kevin, the comedian guy, Kevin James, Zookeeper.
Oh, the one that's in King of Queens. That's
King of
Ray
Queens.
Romano's personal friend, I hear.
Well,
Ray
whatever.
Romano from
But,
Everybody Loves Raymond. Okay.
But dominion means
Paul
that
Blart, Mall Cop.
you take care of that which you have dominion over.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with exploitation. Numero uno. Okay?
So they distort it, they corrupt it.
Yeah.
Like they do everything in the Bible. They try to rewrite it.
So he's kind of off base, doesn't know what he's talking about, obviously, and hasn't researched enough
No.
to come up with his criticism.
Well, they thump their Bibles, conservatives. They don't really know the Bible.
No.
They don't know the God of the Bible. Otherwise, why would they be so
Well-
cruel to the poor?
They don't know the gods of the Bible
And no compassion either.
because they believe the Bible is dealing with a monotheistic God, one God, when it deals with two of them.
Two of them.
Two of them.
Now, my second and last question to you, sir, is I know we were discussing many things Wednesday. Mr. Talker, I mean, I hate to give him so much publicity, but he really is the poster boy for conservative Republicans, and that is none other than Balloon Boy himself, Crisco, the bloated, well-fed Crisco Christie of the governor of New Jersey, conservative Republican, mean-spirited, stingy, bully, political bully, rude, crude, ill-mannered, and a gluttonous with no compassion. Was there a newspaper article this past week or weeks concerning Chris Christie vetoing a bill to keep food, to deny the poor children food? A bill?
We'll get at it.
It's there, huh?
Yeah.
All right, because that I was thinking of, besides the intro about Linux, I was thinking I want to make that the backbone of the title of this discussion, because just think about it. A very well-fed, actually overly fed, wealthy politician, conservative, $3.8 million between him and his wife. Very well fed, by the way. It's obvious, right? Vetoes a bill to feed poor children. Literally takes food out of the mouths of poor children. We'll get to that.
Gives it to the millionaires.
And turns around and continues to give that money to the millionaires. And of course, the conservatives all over say no to the millionaire's tax, which was the title of last week's discussions. You know, I got to read exactly how many discussions we made, because I'm going to start numbering them. This might be like, we did a lot of them. We really did. You know, I lost track, but I got them on record. I'll count them. But anyway, first article.
Speaking about that bill,
You have enough liquid, sir? Because I know your voice is a little strained.
Senate President Stephen Sweeney isn't sorry. No, he won't apologize for calling Governor Christie a rotten bastard.
Good for him. I think you were talking about Mr. Sweeney last week. Good for him. Don't you dare apologize. Don't you dare apologize to the Republicans.
Or for saying he wants to punch him in his head.
Don't apologize for that either. You want to borrow my shillelagh? Sweeney, maybe he is Irish.
Not even for comparing him to that most miserable
Should get one of these.
and miserly characters,
I love this guy, Sweeney.
Mr. Potter of the holiday classic It's a Wonderful Life.
What about Jacob Marley? Where do you go from the Christmas Carol?
Okay, he says. Maybe he could have tempered his words. Could I have gone over the top with my language? Probably I did,
No, you didn't.
Sweeney said at a news conference on Tuesday, 2 days after his stunning remarks were made public.
He feels
But I
guilty.
don't apologize for it.
He feels guilty. Oh, no, maybe not. He doesn't apologize for it.
The governor was wrong to hurt people.
Profits before people. That's what what conservatives do.
The long holiday weekend seemed to have given Sweeney a chance to cool off, if only a little. Though on Sunday he thought it wise to ignore a phone call from the Republican governor. I wasn't going to talk to him, said Sweeney. It was best that we didn't speak. It's by far the darkest chapter in the evolving relationship between Christie and Sweeney, who, despite their opposing political parties, have managed to work together, culminating early last week when Christie, sharing a stage with Sweeney, signed a landmark bill overhauling pension and health care benefits for public workers. For Sweeney, Christie's line item vetoes of the Democrats' $30.6 billion budget just days later went beyond what he called human decency.
Hear that?
The governor cut most state aid for New Jersey's struggling cities and decreased funds for tuition and grants, an AIDS drug distribution program, and nursing homes, among other things. all beyond the original budget he proposed in February. Christie even slashed budgets for legislative staffs, considered a breach of unspoken protocol in the ways of Trenton, though Sweeney said that was the last of his concerns. While it was Sweeney who let loose with the expletive-laced tirade, Patrick Murray, a pollster at Monmouth University, said the situation could actually hurt Christie if voters viewed him as mean-spirited. If the Democrats can get their political act together, the governor handed them something they can really use, which is the mean-spirited argument.
You know how Democrats can get their act together? Stop worrying about everybody liking them and forgetting about bipartisanship and compromise. Your loyalty should be to your voters, not making Republicans like you. And that includes Barack Obama, President Obama. Stop worrying about compromise and bipartisanship. They're not worried about it. The GOP doesn't care. They don't want it. Right away, veto. They let you know filibuster right away. They let you know right up front that they're going to say no to the Democrats' proposal. It happened with recently in with the budget cuts, right? The Democratic proposed budget cuts.
I think there were 67 or so filibusters on the Republican side.
Yeah.
More filibusters than ever.
So many filibusters that all the Republicans should call themselves Buster.
The bully argument never worked because if you're working on behalf of the taxpayers of the state, it doesn't matter. But to be mean-spirited, to act on political vendettas, and fall on the shoulders of the middle class and working poor, then the Democrats have a much stronger political argument.
Yes.
For its part, the governor's office tried to stake out the high road. Maria Camella, spokeswoman for Christie, said the governor felt Sweeney's language was inappropriate, disrespectful to the office. But he continues to stand ready to work with the senator and the legislature in a bipartisan manner.
Oh, jeez.
To get things done.
Oh, gosh.
For the people of New Jersey.
Oh, really? Bipartisan manner is going to get things done for the people in New Jersey. Which people? The rich?
Well, that's what's been going on so far.
Bipartisanship to get things done for the citizens of New Jersey or the country means that the wealthy will continue to enjoy no taxes. They will say no to that, and of course they will say no to a public option for health care, which means Americans that are lower income will continue to have no health care. And it really sucks, don't you think, to live in a democracy that where you have to pay out of pocket for absolutely everything? That blows, man. European Union is and possibly Canada are the most fair forms of democracy, much closer to God's economics.
Well, nothing's close to God's economics. I mean, God's economics gives you your own land and your own way of making business.
Well,
make a living.
Come
on. You'll never be poor that way.
Yeah, you have certain rights, like under FDR's Second Bill of Rights speech. Man has certain rights under a democracy, and they're not privileges, rights. And I was corresponding with some people on this leftist organization on Facebook. It was I might have forwarded it to you, Dr. Bill. It had to do with Republicans trying to cut the funding for public transportation, like for instance light rails and upgrading the train system, preventing the bullet train, the monorail. Like, in other words,
I mean, anything that would create jobs.
Well, not only create jobs, but I think it would be really great if Americans were not forced to, you know, get a car if they don't want to, and pay ridiculously rip off high car insurance rates and price gouge gas prices and the upkeep of a car, which would add to pollution and traffic. Heaven forbid people should have the option of taking an electric powered light rail or an electromagnetic powered monorail that travels at a very high speed, instead of, you know, contributing to an ecological problem by owning a car and having too many cars on the road. Oh, heaven forbid! But of course, what I did was I posted my opinion of why the Republicans want to cut funding for public transportation, and I felt the oil companies, the gas companies were involved, that they don't want this revitalization and upgrading of America's public transportation system. They want people to be forced to own cars.
Just like a long time ago when the automobile in the oil industry did away with trolleys.
Trolleys, light. That's a form of light rail, Dr. Bill. Yeah. Trolley cars. Of course, now they would be. I think weren't they? You know the old Rice-A-Roni commercial, a San Francisco treat.
Bing, Rice-A-Roni, San Francisco treat.
Yeah, we're not talking about like the Village People singing, you know, Macho Man. No, we're talking about Rice-A-Roni. Those were old-time electric trolleys, right?
They had them in Louisiana, they had them in North Carolina.
And you know what?
They had them in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania last time I was there.
And you know where else they had them? Brooklyn, New York. That's where they got the name the Dodgers from. The Brooklyn Dodgers were actually originally the Brooklyn Trolley Dodgers, from what I understand. What a stupid name. Trolley Dodgers, yeah.
Why the hell did they
I have no idea.
What, are they playing in the street and they had to dodge the trolleys?
Maybe that's it. Kids playing in the street, playing stickball.
Yeah. Like
Ed Norton and the Honeymooners, you know, stickball coach. Anyway, maybe that's where they got it from.
Well,
so anyway, trolleys were around for a long time. And they were, since they were electric, they were light rails. Hey, back in the day, we had hydroelectric plants, like the second largest waterfall on the East Coast is the one found in Paterson, New Jersey, second to Niagara Falls. They have an old-time hydroelectric power plant that's sitting there idle.
Which used to power the textile industry.
Right, and would supplement the electric bills of Paterson and Passaic County residents. But guess what would happen if they, my prediction is if they brought back that hydroelectric power plant, they would sell the electricity to PSE&G, Public Service Electric and Gas Company of New Jersey. The Governor Christie would get involved and try to privatize everything, like Republicans usually do. And it would not supplement and bring down the electric bill of Passaic County, New Jersey residents, like it should in a fair democracy. Oh no, they got to privatize everything. Anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I just had to come clean with this.
Continuing with Mr. Christie, with all 120 legislative seats up for grabs in the fall, Assembly Democrats plan to spend the summer hammering at Governor Christie's cuts to social welfare services and aid to struggling cities.
Washington's Democrats should learn a valuable lesson from New Jersey's Democrats. See how tough they're getting?
Grow a spine.
Grow a damn spine, man, a backbone.
Assembly Speaker Sheila Oliver announced Wednesday that her chamber would hold committee hearings throughout the summer to examine the effects of the cuts. The governor may think it's acceptable to cut help for abused children, health care for women and working families, college aid, nursing homes, and endanger public safety. But he may be the only one who thinks that way, said Oliver. The Assembly is known as the People's House, and it will live up to that reputation by taking a hard look at these cuts and what can be done to repair the damage wrought by the governor to our middle class and poor. Last week, Christie made about $1 billion in cuts to the $30.6 billion budget Democrats sent him, which went beyond the reductions he first proposed in February. The decision to hold hearings puts off a vote to override the vetoes until it gets closer to the November 8th election. Oliver said the hearings would help determine what can be done to fix the governor's cuts. The hearings also give Democrats the summer to attack Christie and Republican lawmakers over the cuts. A spokesman for the Assembly Democrats, Tom Hester Jr., denied any political motivations. This isn't about politics. This is about doing what can be done to fix the damage the governor has done to the middle class and the poor.
Doing the right thing. Not dragging politics into it all the time, partisan politics. Doing the right thing, right from wrong. You know?
Senate Democrats are scheduled to meet privately today, when they are expected to discuss the budget cuts. A spokesman for the governor called the hearings political theater. Unless the Democrats in the legislature just found a money tree behind the State House, they still have no way to pay for their election year spending spree. Amid the complaining among Democrats, what has gone unmentioned is the fact that the governor did not reverse all of their additions to his original budget. He let stand $167 million in aid for schools, as well as $35.5 million in social welfare programs, which includes $31.5 million in additional funds for the General Assistance Program, and $4 million Democrats put back into family care, the health insurance program for working poor people.
Sure.
Had family care not received the additional money, said Nicole Brassois, spokeswoman for the Department of Community Services, about 1,300 childless adults would have seen their coverage end next month. Okay?
Okay, now is that the only article we have today concerning Chris Christie taking food out of the mouths of
Isn't
poor
that
children?
enough?
No, that's great.
Isn't that enough, for God's sake?
It's a fantastic article. I was just asking for the sake of asking. I'm content.
Well, I got more.
Balloon Boy articles?
Republican!
Yay. Oh, by the way, you had your lunch during the meeting, right? So the only thing you have left is high tea. All right, continue.
Republican and Tea Partier solutions won't solve our problems.
Mm-hmm.
Politics means compromise.
Yeah.
But with Grover Norquist claiming that more than 230 Republican House and Senate members have taken his no-tax pledge, Republican leadership says revenue increases are off the table. What hypocrisy! If they want a debt reduction, then agree to all revenue increases going only to reduce the deficit. The Republicans say raising taxes kills jobs. Has the extension of the Bush cuts created jobs?
Hell no.
Business has $1.6 trillion in cash, the highest amount since records were kept. So tax cuts just increase profits. They do not create jobs.
Nope.
I agree. Government worker benefits are generous. But how does drastically and suddenly cutting public workers help unemployment? A public sector worker is still a worker who can buy things. Do Republicans think the private sector hires if government cuts spending? Government buys from the private sector. So while chambers of commerce and Republicans complain about government spending, they all look for government contracts or subsidies.
Yeah, the private sector unfortunately outsources all the jobs.
If they create them.
If they create them, they're not created in the United States.
The Republican plan is obstructionist. Senator Mitch McConnell said his only goal was to make Obama a one-term president.
They have an agenda. The agenda besides the bottom line, Republicans.
Should that be the goal of our political leaders? Republicans believe greed is good. They believe in survival of the fittest, and everyone else is inferior.
Really?
That is not a vision, I think, the majority of Americans
What
want.
if the masses get pissed off enough and come after you fat cats? Is your crack security team going to be able to fend off hundreds of thousands of very angry and desperate and possibly well-armed Americans in the end times?
And how is that good for business?
And how is it good for business if your real consumer, the little guy, always been the true consumer, not the elitist? How is that going to affect your business if the little guy doesn't have the money to buy your product? Since you're bringing your product into the United States from third world countries without being properly tariffed, like the Washington should be doing. Okay, you bring your product back to the United States untariffed. You don't pay taxes. Goody goody for you. How are you going to sell it if Americans don't have the moolah, the cash, to buy your product? Then what you going to do?
Gee, we didn't think that far ahead.
Oh, gee. Just like they claim to know the Bible but don't know anything. I mean, we didn't think that far ahead. They never think long term. Isn't that the attitude of corporate America, is short term everything? Short term profit?
That is another one of those recent things.
What?
It was not done in the old days.
Thinking long term?
Yeah. Thinking short term.
Thinking short term.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a brand new business model.
I mean, William H. Morrow III, our commercial voiceover artist, always tells me the story about the old CEO of Sony. You know how he got sick and tired of being the brunt of jokes, like Made in Japan was a big joke, and he turned everything around, and their focus totally changed on quality. You know, not like, you know, Ford, where Ford says quality is job one. I mean, Americans, when they advertise, I don't really believe it, but anyway, what happened with Sony is true. Quality did become job one, and the rest is history concerning Japan, business-wise. So that's that.
As Governor Christie strives to return New Jersey to a state of financial well-being, he has called for shared sacrifice to accomplish this objective. However, when in examining New Jersey's recently passed 2011 budget, it appears as though the sacrifice has fallen disproportionately on the poor and the middle class, while the state's millionaires have been exempted.
This is a great article.
Here are the facts. June 30, before approving the budget, Christie either eliminated or reduced funding for the following budgetary items: college scholarships for poor students, legal aid for the needy, tax credits for the working poor, health care for the working poor, women's health care, AIDS funding, and mental health services. In addition, according to the Nonpartisan Office of Legislative Services, under the governor's budget, a retired couple living on a fixed income of $40,000 would see an increase of $1,320 in taxes, while a family making $1.2 million would receive a tax cut of $11,598. So much for shared sacrifice.
Shared sacrifice.
Clearly, from the governor's actions,
Oh boy.
the burden of restoring the state to financial solvency will fall on the backs of the state's poor and middle class.
And the middle class are the ones that voted this guy in, right? Because of their high property taxes. But do you see what they're all about? It wasn't the liberals that did all this. It was the conservatives. They shifted the tax burden from the rich to the middle class and the poor. And as long as they're in, and I guess you would call it a form of corruption, right? Being bought out by the elitists and the corporations, and just doing for them and not doing for your voters.
It's all legal bribery. They made it legal, baby.
Not taking care of your voters.
Ethics.
Ethics. In other words, being paid off. If you're an American politician and you are paid off by corporations, you know, and you vote according to for the best interests of the corporation, what you're trying to say is they made that legal. Did it take place under G.W. Bush, by any chance?
It's been legal for a long time.
That's been legal for a long time.
Sure. It just increases.
So how is America, which is supposed to be God bless America and all this stuff, and we're supposed to be the favorite of God, if you talk to conservatives, how does all this crap coincide with that claim? Interesting. I don't think the God of the Bible is in favor of all these ideas. So it's probably not the God of the Bible.
Well, that's why this country was never and could never be a Christian nation.
Which happens to be the title of the next new newsletter, Censored. That is almost at the printer now. Oh, by the way, is it at the printer?
It might be. It might be. I had difficulty downloading. The internet was crap last night.
Slow as hell.
For some reason.
Slow, right?
Yeah. And I could not download
What's that?
my email.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not good.
For some reason. My POP3 would never answer.
Have you touched base with the gentleman that, one of your knowledge gnomes that lives nearby? Mr. Ronald?
No, it was not a matter of the wireless.
Okay.
Although the wireless of late keeps cutting out for some reason.
Okay.
The signal goes bye-bye and
Interesting.
then it comes back. Like the other day, I had to use dial-up.
When it's, what?
That's correct.
Heaven forbid.
I was on dial-up the other day.
It's like friggin' going into Dante's Inferno or something from, well, let me ask you a question. In your opinion, when the weather is clear and dry as a bell, do you notice a vast improvement in wireless Wi-Fi speed?
I don't know about speed, but it's probably more dependable than when it's raining.
Then overcast and rain and thunderstormy, and which is what we had yesterday. Oh, okay. Oh,
But I couldn't get on Facebook. Everything took so long to load.
yeah.
I couldn't get on chat. Couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I added some pictures of one of our custom-built mega computers to the Mega Life 21 Facebook page, as well as a couple photos from last week's show, which was just say yes to the millionaire's tax, which is the opposite of what they did. Anyway, a couple of great photos of yours truly. All right. Now, along with Billy Bones Jr. over here, the painting. I just want to say, those of you, I'm going to give a couple consumer tips. It is summer, the lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer, and people like to barbecue. Technically, you can barbecue all year round, but it's more pleasant to do it when the weather's warm. Folks, you don't have to. First of all, those of you out there who have a wood-burning stove or a fireplace and who get firewood delivered, or if you live in the boonies and you're physically able, chop your own firewood, you never have to buy charcoal for your barbecue or smoker ever again. All you have to do is get one of those automatic charcoal starters that, like the one I have, made by Weber, where you use no lighter fluid. You put newspaper in the bottom, and it lights it up.
It's a chimney. Lickety
split. It's a stainless steel chimney with a handle on it. Yeah. It's round. It's cylindrical. Now, put your firewood in there. Long story short, you light it, and it will eventually turn into red hot charcoal. So you don't have to buy lighter fluid. Now you don't have to buy charcoal. You can use your firewood. Okay? Save money that way. And of course, I said this, I think, in another discussion show, but those of you that have indoor or outdoor freshwater aquariums or ponds with fish in it, you do not have to ever buy plant food fertilizer ever again, because aquarium water or pond water that has freshwater fish makes outstanding fertilizer for your houseplants and vegetables and flour and etc., etc. All right, there you go. Learn something new every time. Those are my tips, my summertime tips for our viewers. Hot fun in the summertime. Hot fun in the summertime. Okay, let me know when you're ready for high tea and your voice needs a rest. Hold on. Tea time. Not yet?
It's not even made.
Oh, it's not? Oh, gee.
That's what I was just trying to get
you want to
attention.
Get attention. Okay.
Well,
tea time. You want to take a break? Rest your voice and get the tea going? We are back. Well, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman has not had his high tea yet, but we had a situation that needed to be straightened out off the air because of the big meeting that the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman had this morning. It sort of upset the apple cart here. Our schedule, our scheme of things, with the show format was kind of thrown off, so certain things were not done and they had to be done, and so we're sort of very busy here. But anyway, I just want to make a statement before I do my impersonation. You know what's funny, Dr. Bill, you were reading me an article Wednesday about immigration. It's funny how immigrants have to take an American history test, basic American history test, and pass it, but some of our possible, God forbid, but possible conservative Republican political leaders don't even know basic American history. Like Sarah Palin and Bachmann, what's her first name?
Michelle.
The arrogant Michelle Bachmann, who claims to be running for the, is she running in 2012 for the Republican nomination for president? The arrogant, the conservative coven of witches. She was added to that group, They don't even know basic American history, but the immigrants, they better know it. Otherwise, what double standards with conservatives in everything they do. So I just want to before we continue with articles, I want to do an impersonation of the chickie poos that that want to run for office, that don't know American history. You know, like Sarah Palin and the arrogant. Well, Bachman's voice is not annoying like Sarah Palin, but I just want to do Sarah Palin, who I call the human slide whistle, or sometimes I call her Nailin' Palin, named after the porno movie that they made with a Sarah Palin lookalike.
Oh, God.
I know. That's it. It's my slide whistle. Not bad. From a dollar store. You never know what you're going to find in a dollar store, people. Sometimes you can save a lot of money on quality merchandise. But that, you know, of course, this was found in the toy section. Always wanted a slide whistle, and I got one. Just like I always wanted an Irish shillelagh, and I got one now to use as a prop. Oh, by the way, speaking of getting what I want, this Tuesday, UPS will be delivering my 20-pound Persian club from revolutionclubs.net. The master craftsman, Mr. Christian Darce, in the Houston, Texas area, where Revolution Clubs is located, the only United States manufacturer of authentic, high-quality wooden Persian clubs and British-style Indian clubs in the United States today. High-quality wooden British-style Indian clubs and Persian meals, the kind that the Iron Sheik used to swing. I'm getting my 20-pounder, and you know, once I get the hang of it, I'll do a video and show it. But anyway, that should be coming Tuesday, their estimated time of arrival. Continue with the articles.
The I
know that animal.
has long, skinny fingers,
Nocturnal, right?
big eyes, and big ears.
Does it say I, like the Mexican, when it
It is
is that
a
the sound it
type
makes?
of lemur
Yeah,
that lives only in Madagascar.
like lemurs do.
Many people there believe the eye brings bad luck.
That's true. Bad omen.
It looks so strange that it can make people uncomfortable.
Well, a possum is very nocturnal, and it looks macabre. It looks strange.
The eye is nocturnal, which means it is active at night and sleeps during the day. People hardly ever see it.
Well, because people
When it
are
does-
diurnal. Yeah.
When it does come out of the rainforest,
Except for me, I'm nocturnal.
it might come up to people and start sniffing at their feet.
At night?
If it came out during the day.
How do they know that? If it never comes out during the day, how do they know it will sniff at their feet?
This behavior, along with its strange looks, can freak people out.
A lot of people can freak people out.
Unfortunately, because people are superstitious,
Forget about the eye. Yeah.
they often kill the eye.
Oh, man. What a bunch of assholes. Just because the animal looks strange, is that any reason to just murder it? To kill it? Human race is vile.
For a while, scientists thought it was extinct.
People suck.
Luckily, people have discovered the eye are still living Scattered in the rainforest.
I hope everything's fine with I. Da, 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 da,
The
da, da.
eye's long fingers
Yeah.
help it grasp branches, much like the hands of other primates. Its middle finger is especially long and skinny.
Well, you know what? From the way the eye has been treated by humans, I don't blame the eye for having a pronounced long middle finger.
Giving it to humans.
Giving it to the humans.
It uses this long finger to tap on anything that makes it curious.
You know, this is all unrehearsed, viewers. All the jokes you hear on discussions is totally spontaneous. Go ahead.
When it taps on trees, it listens for a hollow sound, which makes an insect tunnel inside the tree.
So the eye would probably hear hollow sounds as it taps on human skulls.
Then it chews a hole in the tree and uses its long stick-like finger to probe for insects.
Similar to primates using a stick in a termite mound?
It hooks insects with its middle finger and eats them one by one.
Well, if there's a bunch of them on the finger, I'm sure it sucks them up.
The eye's teeth are not like any other primates. They are more like rodent teeth.
Really? Oh, to gnaw.
They are sharp
To gnaw.
and keep growing throughout the eye's life,
So in other words,
like a hamster.
in other words, it's not a rodent, it's a lemur, but it has rodent-like teeth because of its ability to gnaw a hole in tree trunks to get at the insects.
Its long
There you go.
fingers and sharp teeth help it eat food such as insects, eggs, vegetables, and fruits.
Oh, it raids birds' nests? Oh, that's not good.
When it eats an egg, it makes a hole in the shell with its teeth. Then it sticks its middle finger in and out the hole, licking the egg off its finger.
And then it will be an ecstasy. And that's no yoke. I ain't yoking around with you. See, it's spontaneous, man. Just like the honeymooners. Totally ad-lib. No rehearsal. We're just naturals. We're naturals at everything we do.
Some giant basket stars have arms that keep growing and branching out throughout their lives.
Not yoking around with you.
These deep sea animals can wrap around coral and other animals to anchor themselves for feeding.
For what?
Feeding.
Feeding. Oh man, what a cute dachshund. Excuse me, but somebody's walking an adorable dachshund. It looks like a pup. It is friggin' cute as hell. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The armadillo's shell
They're cool. I like armadillos.
makes it different from any other mammal. Its shell covering is not a true shell like a lobster's or a turtle's. By the way, speaking of turtles,
The prehistoric armadillo. Yes, somebody was
Yes.
somebody has abused an eastern box turtle by driving a nail in New Jersey. Right, driving a nail from right down into the turtle. It has a dome shell like a tortoise. Okay, but it's a northern creature. It hibernates. The turtle survived. It was taken to a veterinary clinic for emergency surgery, and this son of a bitch thought it was amusing to drive a nail straight down into the dome shell of a box turtle. What is the condition of the box turtle?
it survived, as you said. I don't know where it is now.
A lot of people are
But the
upset.
turtle was 15 years old, and people knew that it lived there and accepted its living there, and etc.
So the turtle.
Except the nail driver.
So the turtle, the box turtle, decided not to leave the residential area, but to remain in its natural habitat, which happens to be,
For 15
often
years.
where people build their homes. 15 years, and people got to know it, and they left it alone. It's a wild animal. They decided not to take it in the house and make a pet out of it, left it alone, and excuse my language, some motherfucking piece of shit, who I swear, I wish they get a hold of him and drive a fucking nail right through his skull. Drove a nail through the dome shell of the box turtle. Oh, by the way, they have been seeing more and more black bears in New Jersey in
Where did that bear
Middle-
all that guy?
Middle New Jersey, like Middlesex County area. And
One bear has been walking around. He's been down in New Brunswick. He's been up here. He's been, you know,
Well, there's some kind of a wildlife reserve
down in Jackson.
Yeah, and the bears get spooked, even the big ones, and they run up the tree. And this was during a heat wave, and the poor bear was panting with his tongue hanging out because it was so hot and humid. It was like a 270-pound male black bear, and it, you know, went up the tree. And you know what? It's not a good thing that wild animals become desensitized to human presence. It's not good.
No.
You know, and we have wild turkeys losing fear of man and coming into residential areas. We have deer. You know, Canadian geese have decided they like northeastern New Jersey. They like New Jersey better than Canada because we have a lot of them here. And who knows what else is going to be on the list? Foxes, bobcat. We already have raccoons and skunks and possums. That's old hat. They run around the residential areas at night. You know, rabbits. I got lots of wild rabbits in my yard, and I live in the suburbs. You know, congested suburbs, so to speak. It's a shame. Anyway.
In any event, the shell of the armadillo is actually a part of its body. It's made out of the same material that makes up our fingernails and hair.
Oh, what was it?
Keratin.
Keratin.
When an armadillo is born, its shell looks like soft skin.
You know, a rhinoceros horn, I think, is compressed hairs. Is also the same material. But anyway, continue.
As it dries, it becomes harder. When threatened, the armadillo rolls itself into a ball, like a child doing a somersault. Its protective shell covers them all. Some types can close themselves completely into a ball with armor plating.
Uh-huh.
The fairy armadillo is about the size of an adult's human thumb. The naked mole rat is not a mole or a rat.
What the hell is it?
It's a rodent related to the rat.
Okay.
It is not entirely naked either. It has small, thin, whisker-like hairs scattered over its body.
Okay.
It keeps warm by burrowing into the earth. From 15 to 50 naked mole rats sleep together in a large nest.
They huddle. Body heat.
Their body heat and breathing keep their nest warm and humid.
Yeah, you would think they would start to grow hair because due to evolution, they would have a need for that. But
It is not the only mammal we know of that has a social organization like that of bees. It has a queen and workers that serve her. A female becomes queen by defeating other females in a fight.
a fight.
After winning, her body changes so she can produce babies.
Good goobly-goo.
She gives off a chemical in her urine
Wow.
that stops other females from having babies.
Really, a contraceptive golden shower.
The naked mole rat
Yeah.
is thought to be the only mammal that never gets cancer.
They know that for a fact? Well, I hear sharks.
That's what they said.
They
man.
say sharks don't get cancer either. You know,
I don't know too many sharks that they sort of follow from childhood to adulthood and beyond.
that is true.
You
You
know?
mean like tagging
Tagging them, yeah.
a pup, which is what a baby shark is called, because they're live bears, tagging a pup and following it from cradle to grave.
Yeah.
But I would take a wild guess and say that the animals that never get cancer probably have a naturally very strong immune system, because immune system strength, optimization, having an optimum
Immune system.
optimally strong immune system is the best way to deal with
Cancer.
most diseases,
Yeah.
I would say. And and because we have so much toxins in our environment in modern life, especially urban life, our immune systems are compromised. Well, I don't know about myself and Dr. Bill, because we take lots of antioxidants and oxidants and the basic nutritional formula. So, but the average person who says, when they see a
I get
vitamin,
all my vitamins from my food.
yeah, when they see a vitamin catalog, they probably say, "I gotta take all those pills.
Oh,
I don't want
God.
to take more pills. Wah, wah. I don't want to take more pills."
Can I just take one?
But if their medical doctor gives them prescriptions,
15.
Huh?
15 or
Oh.
13, excuse me. I know a fellow across the street who's taking 13.
those are not pills. Those are not pills to these people. These misinformed lemmings here in America. Taking drugs with lots of negative side effects are not pills. Actually, a very good friend of Mr. Ken Create, who is now performing today at the big Christian Heritage Festival, Christian Heritage History Festival at Eastside Park in Paterson, New Jersey. One of his close friends, Bobby, was telling me he had to stop taking his hypertensive medication. He was taking 2 different drugs for his hypertension, and he's also autistic, but he's very smart. For an autistic man, he's sharp as a tack. He can hold a serious scientific conversation with you and talk politics and make sense. But anyway, Bobby had to stop because of the many horrible negative side effects. He couldn't sleep with taking these hypertensive drugs. He had insomnia.
What did it do to his sex life?
It messed him up. He had to stop taking them, and his doctor yelled at him for stop taking it. And guess what? Bobby's now taking for his to relax at night and to be able to sleep. He's taking melatonin, which is a very good naturally occurring hormone. It's also a very strong antioxidant, and he says he's doing wonderfully with the melatonin. And I told him to take very good optimal multi-minerals. I think minerals are probably going to be very good for autistic patients, right?
Calcium, magnesium, B6. Sure.
So he should be taking a very high B complex.
The nutritional protocol, the basic nutritional protocol, numero uno.
You know what, Dr. Bill, you know what bothers me about most of the multi-mineral formulas out there? They're very conservative. They don't have the optimal doses of the minerals. You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with these biochemists or nutritionists hired by these companies?
Well, they want to sell more.
So, make it better.
Well, like in the old days. I happen to have been a multi-level seller of a
Where was it?
certain amount of
Amway?
Herbalife?
Herbalife?
No, it was Shackley.
Oh, yeah. I looked at their catalog.
And they had a multi.
Very unimpressed.
They had a multi, which had huge horse pills,
Yeah.
round ones, with the vitamin A. I mean
You know, they put sugar in some of their products.
they do
Shackley.
vitamin A, I believe it was. There was 2,500 vitamin A in one pill.
That's it.
So in other words, to get 10,000, you had to take 4 of these horse pills a day.
And then, in order to take 4 of the horse pills, you would get too much of maybe other minerals.
No.
No?
That was the object was to sell more product.
But if the cheapo RDA for vitamin A is 5,000 international units, and the the bottom line, the rock bottom optimal level is probably 10,000 international units minimum. I mean, the real proper RDA is really, I think, is 10,000. You had to take a whole bunch of these horse pills. Now, if I was a biochemist hired by, let's say, Twin Lab, or what's another good company that makes vitamins, a Solar Ray, or whatever, I would make sure that, okay, in order to get the optimal levels of the vitamins and minerals in a multi, I'd rather have people take 3 or 4 smaller capsules and get the optimal levels of everything than to take one giant horse pill that they can't even swallow and not get the optimal levels. Isn't it better to break it down into small capsules and have them take it like breakfast, lunch, and dinner and get optimal levels?
Well, yeah, but the object of these companies is, and the people, they want to take 1 pill a day.
Because Americans
They want everything in one
are a
pill.
bunch of whiners. They want everything.
Well, they believe the body can absorb
Easy.
everything, at one sitting. You take your calcium,
It's not true.
you'd be lucky if you absorb 30% of it. So if you took it once a day, that's all you would be getting. If you took it like 3 times a day, then hopefully you get 90% absorption.
Well, you should always
You can't
take
do that at
you
one
should
meal.
always take basic nutritional supplements with food in the stomach.
That's
So
true.
so the enzymes, the hydrochloric acid is optimized, and present. Never take them on an empty stomach unless it's a supplement that
Amino
requires
acid or something.
Yeah, an amino acid, or
Between meals.
some say bovine colostrum should be taken on an empty stomach, amino acids. But other than that, you should have food in your stomach. And it's always better to break it down with every meal. But of course,
I know a woman who tries to take her iron pill on an empty stomach.
see, when it comes to dealing with the general public, especially in America, where these people want to do what they want to do, I don't have patience for that. You want to change your life for the better. You want to cure your illness. You want to get off prescription drugs. You got to follow the protocol. You got to
Make an effort.
Make an effort. Work. You got to make an effort, and you got to do the right thing, which takes effort. It takes work. So you may have to monitor, okay, this is what I take after breakfast, this is what I take after lunch, this is what I take after dinner, and break it down. No, they don't want to do that. They want to do what they want to do. Well, you know what? Suffer. What can I say? Suffer. Stupid asses make excellent fertilizer when they, when they fuck themselves up and they die. That's how I look at it.
The deep red color
It's cold in here.
of the red medusa,
Is this a...
jellyfish,
Oh, I love sea creatures.
is invisible in the dark depths of the sea.
How come I can't get a jellyfish from my saltwater aquarium? I noticed they're nowhere to be found. Anyway.
But the color hides the bioluminescence, or light, given off by prey the medusa has eaten.
If there's a brown, if there's a tan-colored jellyfish, I would call it a peanut butter and jellyfish. If I was a marine biologist, how do you like that? How do you like that? Isn't that very clever?
Most jellyfish are clear, so the red color helps hide the shining food as the medusa digests it.
The Medusa.
This keeps the jellyfish hidden from its enemies. The Casota red medusa is a type of jellyfish recently found in the deep seas of the Arctic.
Yay. I admire these creatures that live in the Arctic. I'm lucky if I can handle the winters here in New Jersey.
The cassowary
The bird, right?
is about 5 feet tall It has large, powerful feet. If this bird kicked a man in the stomach,
Lacerate him.
it could kill him.
Cut his belly. Disembowel, maybe?
The cassowary has no feathers on its head or neck.
Yeah.
Its skin is blue or red.
In other words, it is a wild bird that is best left alone. Okay, and all these, I know here in, what is it, Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey, one or two baboons escaped.
Uno baboon.
One baboon escaped from the wild country safari thing. You know what? In the long run, overall, I don't like zoos. You know, it's different if you have an endangered species and you're trying to safely and propagate them and introduce them back into the wild. Eventually, you're trying to save the species. But no, other than that, I think these wild animals belong in their natural habitat, and they should be, professional photographers with the telephoto lens should monitor them and make documentaries. Hey, you want a zoo? Watch a documentary. Leave them alone. Don't put them in jail. There's a zoo here in Bergen County, New Jersey, in Paramus, New Jersey, called Van Saun Park. I was outraged by seeing an endangered California condor. Or was it an Andean condor? It was a condor, nevertheless, with a big, huge wingspan in a pen like a chicken coop. And this animal could spread its wings, but only walk. It couldn't fly. And then there was another situation where they had pumas, cougars, that didn't have a hell of a lot of room either. And there was an iguana that was in a shaded area where it could not bask in the sun. I felt bad for a lot of these animals. It's cruelty, man. Why? So humans can gawk at them and little kids could. This little kid was screaming at the cougar, going like this, sticking his finger in the face. I'm going, oh man, would I love to see that cougar nail this little monster. He was screaming at the cougar. He was going, and his parents weren't saying anything. Typical, younger generation American parents. Oh no, no discipline, no nothing. Lungs, sticking his finger in the face of the puma. You know what I'm saying? Some kids try to pull that off in San Diego Zoo with a Bengal tiger. Guess what? The Bengal tiger got out and killed 2 of the kids. As far as teasing and throwing rocks at them or sticks, and it pissed that Bengal tiger off, and he found his way out.
The pangolin is covered with scales. They are made of the same protein that makes up our fingernails and hair. The scales look like hairs pressed together. Early mammals probably had scales like this rather than fur or hair. Pangolins use their tails to grasp things and to help them climb. They also use their tails to help them walk. They walk on their hind legs with their tails sticking out behind to balance the weight of their body.
Oh, interesting.
Is that much like a kangaroo or something?
Sounds like it.
The T-Rex may have walked this way. The tree pangolin's tail looks like a snake. Its scales are flat, like those on the body of a snake. This may help it scare off predators. The pangolin is actually a mammal, not a reptile. It looks like a lizard.
It's lizard looking. It does that, yeah.
Lizard-like.
Well, look at a damn platypus, for God's sakes. Man, it looks like a hairy duck. It's like a duck, half duck, half mammal, right?
11 tentacles surround each nostril of the star-nosed mole.
I've seen pictures of the star-nosed mole.
The tentacles help it find prey.
And its eyesight is probably horrible. It's probably extremely nearsighted, maybe close to blindness.
Touching insects underground and in the water.
Eats worms.
Because
Worms,
it lives in the dark, underground, the mole must use its tentacles to help it find its way. Hundreds of special organs on these tentacles are super sensitive to touch.
Sort of like the fish that live in our ocean's great depths, where the sunlight is like...
Where the sun don't shine.
Where the sun don't shine.
Experts believe they make the mole's nose the most sensitive organ of any animal.
Has to.
Its tentacles might also be sensitive to electric signals. Moles push their way through the soil with their noses.
Dirty snout, huh?
Experts think the star-nosed mole may pull in its tentacles while it burrows underground.
Yeah, they probably have long, sharp claws. Yeah.
This would protect the sensitive tentacles. Moles dig right under the sod or grassy area, searching for food. They do a kind of breaststroke through the soil, making tunnels. As they tunnel, little mounds of soil are pushed up, creating molehills. Don't make a mountain out of molehill, okay? Star-nosed moles burrow deep underground during the winter to get away from the cold. They live near wetlands and are good swimmers.
Good for them. Well, you know, it's amazing, you know, through evolution how animals have the great ability to adapt. Even domesticated pets, dogs, cats, you know, during hardships, you know. But it's so damn heartbreaking to see that ASPCA type commercial with these abused dogs and cats with that music. Oh, it's heartbreaking. I don't understand. Human beings are vile. People are vile. They're bad. Oh, my question is, before we say goodbye, which happens to be that time, this week on Discussions, and the Reverend Dr. William J. Heiserman has to have a after show high tea because of his big meeting early this morning. Do we have one heavy-duty, powerful political article by any chance that is kind of related to the mean-spirited Chris Christie? Do we have anything to your knowledge? No. Good. Okay.
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
I'm sure Mr. Christie will do something in the next week.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I got before we say goodbye. You know, as a progressive liberal, myself and the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, we have to thank Chris Christie, Governor Chris Christie, for one thing. While people like Sarah Palin and, you know, Weeper of the House,
John
Boehner are quiet, and, you know, when nothing is coming out of the mouths of Rush Limbaugh and Palin, Sarah Palin and Boehner and the rest of them, Newt Gingrich, they've been quiet lately. Chris Christie has given us a bountiful supply of material. So he's keeping us busy. Chris Christie, I want to thank you for keeping us busy with tons of material to do lots of hard-hitting, interesting discussion shows, even though we feel that you are a demon. You are a tool of Satan, just like Ronald Reagan was, you know, when he shifted the tax burden from the rich to the middle class and the poor. And he created item veto. Did he create that, by the way? He just liked it. He just wanted it, right?
Well, I don't think he had it.
He didn't have it then, but he did. He was big on not taxing the wealthy. Well, they all are. But anyway, Chris Christie's given us so much material, and I want to thank him. And this is the only time you will ever hear us thank conservative Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey. That's it. For giving us material to work with. You know.
Now we have to get ways to protect us from him.
Yeah.
And his hordes.
Because the conservative Congress that we have, thanks to the idiots, the boobs in America that voted for a conservative Congress last November, they've been quiet. Unless they do something really dastardly soon.
Well, they're threatening to do it. They're not going to raise the debt ceiling.
There you go.
Rand Paul wants to filibuster.
And when that finalizes, we will have another juicy article to read on Discussions.
The juicy article will be the destruction of the United States of America. Because it won't be able to pay its bills.
Bible prophecy? Perhaps? Ephraim and Manasseh, the modern-day descendants of ancient Israel. The United States is actually Manasseh or Ephraim?
Manasseh.
Manasseh. Great Britain was Ephraim, right? There you go. It's prophesied in the Bible, you know. And I know Ken Create keeps on talking about the mark of the beast, the computer chip in our heads.
But the mark of the beast does not apply to the United States.
Corporate power. Oh.
It applies to the beast, which is the Holy Roman Empire.
Which will take place.
Which will rule the world for 3.5 years.
Which will probably take place in the European Union region, right?
Not probably. That's where it has always taken place.
Right.
6 revivals, the other revivals.
Yeah.
So that has nothing to do with the United States of America, the chip. The chip will be with the beast. That's how you will be able to buy and sell. With the beast.
Then, of course, the king of
the beast will become the gigantic economic power for those years. There will be no rival.
They will defeat the king of the south, which is the Islamic extremists, right?
Well, that's later, but I'm talking about how they're going to take over. The United States, the dollar is going to be, and whatever they're going to call their money, euro or Deutschmark or whatever it's going to be, that's going to be the leading currency of the world.
And the United States will have become kaput at that time.
As a military, an economic, and an industrial power.
Right. Now, the economic power, the emerging economic power of mainland China will be part of, most likely, Gog and Magog, right? In the future.
Gog and Magog and Russia and everything. But they're never going to be... They're going to be a power, but they're never going to be, a rival to the... they're going to defeat the beast.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be
take over
a world power, take over, because Jesus will be here at that
because
time.
At that time, the second coming of Jesus with the 1,000-year rule,
and they will be
in Jerusalem.
Yeah, they will go back to the east where they came from, and they will exist for 1,000 years, and because later on they have to be released again. The devil has to be released again, so he can go out and test people again.
Yeah.
And bring this military horde against Jesus, and then they'll be defeated, and then all will come under Jesus' rule.
Yeah. And the new God project for the new newsletter will be the sin of Job, which is what? Self-righteousness, basically, the sin of Job. And now, I just want to give one last message to all you right-wing fundamentalists, holy rollers out there. You think that the rapture is for everybody that's saved, but it's not. It's not our time yet. It is not our time yet. The rapture is for the elect that is supposed to rule in Jerusalem, not up in the sky, right? It's supposed to descend to Jerusalem and rule in Jerusalem. We're talking about the elect, all the heavy hitters from the Bible. It's not our time yet, the resurrection of the average Joe six-pack. You know, all you people out there getting funky in church and doing the moonwalk and banging your tambourine or whatever you do, or babbling in tongues with your arms up in the air. It was a Christine O'Donnell, the witch, is like, oh, I got her arms up in the air. It's not your time yet. So you can give all your money to your evangelists and pastors all you want.
And you can pray all you want.
And, you know, Ken Create was talking about, oh, I hope when I go to this big Christian heritage festival, I hope people are going to be on fire for the Lord. I hope they're going to be praising God and singing and dancing and everything.
What is that supposed to do?
What is that supposed to do? He hopes.
Since you can't come to God, He calls you. What is that stuff supposed to do? Who's that pleasing?
Is that part of vanity, maybe?
Obviously, because it's all they think they're saving souls.
So they're still thinking that they're saving souls and that themselves are saved because of the dispensation of grace and everything, and they are still saying, oh, this guy, like Ken told me, oh, this guy I know, you know this guy, he used to be a famous athlete or actor or whatever. Well, guess what? He's saved. He's now a Christian. He's a devout Christian. He's saved. I says, how do you know all these people are saved? He's saying all these people are saved. This one's saved. Saved. And then if I ask him, Ken, why are you so sure all these people are real Christians like they tell you and that they are saved? How do you know? He says, then he starts with the blood, covered by the blood. Again, the dispensation.
When you become a real Christian.
Paul, they keep on talking about the writings of Paul.
When you become a real Christian, you repent.
Right.
You change your way of living. And you receive, you're baptized, of course, and you receive the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the mind, the very mind of God.
And your nature is changed.
Your total nature is changed.
Quickly or slowly, I guess.
Well, once you get the Holy Spirit, it's changed.
Your nature is changed.
Does that mean that you will stay that way forever? No.
Does that mean you can screw around?
No.
And be a bad boy?
No.
See,
so that's how you would tell if a person was a real Christian.
He seems to think
by
that
their fruits,
because of the promise of the cover by the blood and cover by the blood and blah, blah.
That just means that
that you're saved all the
you
time.
can't save yourself. That God will save you, but like you said before, it's not their time. So how can they say that they are saved?
I don't know where they get that, and they insist that their beliefs are the only true beliefs. Isn't that also vanity?
Well, all of them say that. 99% of all religions say that.
And what does it say on the Cyber Church of God and the God Project? That 99.9% of all religions are
fake, phonies, and frauds.
That's a quote from the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. Right? Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. Thessalonians.
Yeah, and these people that you're talking about, they have obviously not done the one thing that you're supposed to do before you'd ever give yourself over to some religion or something, and that's to prove that that deity exists.
And then if you mention the red thread, they tell you that their red thread is more accurate than your red thread. See, this is what they do. They always have
a red thread. Well, what do they know about the?
I guess it's their interpretation.
What do they know about the promises given to Abraham and how they went through time and were passed on from Isaac to Jacob to Joseph through Ephraim, Manasseh? This is one of the red threads. They don't know who are the modern day descendants of ancient Israel. They exist today.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know who they are, so how do they know that red thread?
Maybe they're misinterpreting just like Harold Camping misinterprets.
How do they know what John 1:1 says? What is he talking? What are you talking about there?
Yeah.
You're talking about there's two gods talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking to each other. So how many gods exist in the Bible? One or two? That's a red thread, isn't it?
There you go.
All right, they don't have that. What about David's throne? Supposed to exist forever. Where's David's throne today? What are you doing? Calling God a liar?
England. London.
I know, but they don't know that. They're not following that red thread.
These people are lazy. They only listen to their pastors, evidently.
What about Nephish? Nephish.
The soul, right?
Yeah, the soul, which is breathed into animals too.
So the same soul that's mentioned in the Bible in Hebrew, it's a Hebrew word, nephish,
yeah,
is the same soul, according to the Bible, that is in animals. So that means...
So where's this immortal soul?
And you said if you have an immortal soul that flies...
What the hell do you need a resurrection for?
That flies out of your body, why do you need a resurrection?
See, all of these red threads, they don't have any of these red threads. They have their traditions. And all the traditions, as far as Christians are concerned, come from early forms of the Catholic Church, except for one, which has been carried on since the days after Jesus was dead.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only one. There's one true church. If you're believing the Bible, then one true church exists today. Not all of these so-called Christian churches. One. And it will always be small.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, which church does that write off immediately? The Catholic one, correct? Since the Catholic Church is huge.
Well, isn't that an example of right-wingers, right-wing conservatives trying to rewrite the Bible? Isn't it sort of?
Well, they're rewriting the Bible today because the Bible talks too much about the poor and taking care of them.
Now, they don't want to take care of the poor.
How does that line up with their greed is good?
Yeah, greed is good. That's what Republicans say now. Greed is good. Arrogance, no, what's the word? Selfishness is a virtue, according to conservative Republicans.
And self-righteousness is the way to go.
Yeah.
Ayn Rand.
So the love of money is idolatry. Idolatry, idol worship, idolatry, one of the basic sins, right?
Number one. First one.
There you go. It's simple. It's simple. You're hearing the Bible truths. Maybe I should fit the word Bible truths into the title of this week's discussions, because we covered a lot of good Bible information here. We got to the backbone, the nitty-gritty here. Hello there. Now it's time for promo. You see this gentleman next to me? This is a self-portrait of the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is a fine watercolor artist, and this is his self-portrait. You can view the William J. Eisenman watercolor collection of fine paintings by going to www.newslettercensored.com or going to the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile and look it over. Look them over. If there's something there that you like, send him an email and ask him if the painting is still available. If it's still available, you can purchase an authentic William J. Eisenman, PhD, fine watercolor painting, signed by William J. Eisenman. Okay, fantastic. He is. Right now, he is working, it's not done yet, but he is working on a portrait of the Wizard Azibuko's personal assistant, Esmeralda, and it's coming out very, very, very good. Okay, it's really is. Anyway, this is the backbone of our organization. Newsletter Censored, founded in 1977 by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It discusses the 5 taboos of American life, which is politics, religion, sex, health, and human sexuality. I'm sorry, child rearing.
Child rearing.
Yeah, 5 taboos of American life. There you go. Politics, religion, health, human sexuality, and child rearing. This is the very best way to be a part of our organization, okay? The best way to join us. There's more information in the newsletter than there is on our talk shows or on our websites. This is the kind of information that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? In this newsletter, there is the political monologue, followed by, if there's room, tidbits, followed by The God Project by William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity. The God Project, which tells you what the Bible really has to say. And last but not least is Sexuality, a Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, PhD. Get your subscription now. Get your free annual subscription with your gift to support this work by going to www.newslettercensored.com. Click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, get your free annual subscription. You need Newsletter Censored. We are living in the end times. You need Newsletter Censored to learn how to defeat a conservative. You need Newsletter Censored in the end times in order to survive the end times and find out what the Bible really has to say, not what counterfeit, right-wing conservative, phony baloney Christians tell you what the Bible says.
Who have hijacked it.
Hijacked the Bible and tried to rewrite it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it from promo from the Newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey.